Et bien le bonjour les amis, c'est Clad, on est parti aujourd'hui pour un let's play découverte sur Hitchhiker, Mystery Game Adventure. Donc Hitchhiker c'est à la base un jeu mobile, sorti maintenant sur console. Aujourd'hui, donc c'est un jeu d'aventure en vue FPS. Donc c'est édité par Versus Evil, développé par Mad About Pandas. Donc, en colère à propos des pandas, d'accord. Sorti donc aujourd'hui au tarif de 19,99€. C'est sorti sur Xbox, sur PlayStation, sur Switch aussi je crois, et sur PC il y a quelques temps déjà. Non, sur PC aujourd'hui aussi d'ailleurs. Sur Steam aujourd'hui aussi. Et sur mobile depuis quelques temps déjà sur l'Apple Arcade, je ne sais plus comment ça s'appelle, je suis pas joueur mobile du tout, donc là après, ce n'est pas mon domaine. Bon bref, on est parti pour un let's play découverte. Donc, j'ai pas trop vu trop d'histoire sur le jeu, trop de news exprès pour pas me cacher la surprise. Donc on est parti. En gros, on est un autostoppeur amnésique, je crois, et on va devoir un peu enquêter sur la disparition d'un de nos amis, je crois, tout en essayant de retrouver notre foyer, je crois aussi. Si je dis pas de bêtises. Ça peut être fun en tout cas. On va parcourir les routes avec différents autostoppeurs, donc ça peut être sympa, ça change. J'espère que l'histoire en tout cas elle est cool. Déjà sympa le petit logo. Donc ça commence, premier autostoppeur. Ah donc on bouge la caméra avec le stick gauche déjà, c'est bizarre. Ok, pas avec le stick droit. Ouh c'est basique. Appuyez sur A pour valider, B pour annuler seulement. Ok. Sac à dos, on a une brosse à dents et c'est tout. Ok. C'est un peu léger quand même, on n'a pas de thune, on n'a pas de bouffe. Des raisins secs, ouais. Gars aux raisins secs. Ok. Tabac mâché. Cool.
So, where are you headed?
Est-ce qu'on peut lui répondre? Ouais.
Not the talkative type, eh?
On me dit pas qu'on a encore un mec qui ne parle pas.
Most people I
Ça par contre
pick
j'aime
up
pas dans
are
les jeux
just
vidéo.
waiting for their turn to talk. Want a raisin?
Donc ouais. Une citation.
Want a raisin? They're from my farm.
Les raisins secs ont les fermiers.
Sure. California still farms more raisins than anywhere on Earth. Yep, that's right. Some people don't have the slightest idea. Sure you don't want one?
C'est mal traduit on aurait dit. Hein.
You want to know the clearest evidence that reality isn't real? Raisins and grapes, man. They're the same thing,
Ok.
but they taste disgusting when eaten together. Obvious bug in the program there, right? Memory's a slippery thing. Think about when somebody asks you about this ride later. Assuming you even know where you're going. And get someplace where somebody can ask you. Hey, how'd you get here anyway? They'll ask you. Oh, I hitched. And your brain will flash back for a second when you say this. And it'll show you a frozen snapshot of yourself. Sitting in this car, talking to me, like we are right now. But which moment will it actually show you? Will it be this one? Or this one? Or this one? We think we remember how people really were, how our lives together really were. But when we think back to them, even the people we cared about the most, all we're doing is snatching moments out of the air. just grabbing another raisin out of the box. I've spent a lot of time around raisins. They're like those dogs you see with wrinkles of skin falling
Bon, en
over
tout
their
cas, c'est
eyes.
sûr, c'est définitif, on ne parle pas, encore une fois.
Basically helpless but lovable.
Je ne sais pas ce que le développeur à chaque fois à mettre des personnages, des protagonistes muets. C'est pour une raison de budget, c'est ça? Je suis pas fan perso. C'est que du coup le personnage qu'on contrôle, bah il a aucune personnalité.
Thanks. But you don't look like you're doing so well yourself. Takes one to know one, right? I can always spot someone who's grieving along this highway. They usually stand on the road with a dazed look on their face and their thumb up in the air. Young guy like you, I wouldn't have a clue.
Bon, déjà on a un homme, amnésique comme j'avais
My
dit.
wife, if I'm totally honest with you, I don't really remember what she looked like. Remember everything about
Mec, c'est
her.
comme ta femme, t'en rappelles pas? Allez, hein.
Just not her face. Some people have faces that are easy
Chaud.
to remember. Doesn't seem fair. Well, it's not as easy as you think. I'll give you an example. You think you're present in the moment? You've been talking to me for a few minutes now. What color are my eyes?
Mec, je t'ai pas regardé. Je veux dire marrant comme beaucoup de monde.
Well, like I said when I picked you up,
En même temps, on les voit même pas tes yeux, mec.
some people are just waiting until it's their turn to talk. Hey, kid.
Et ils sont... Je ne vois toujours pas.
Do me a favor and close the window, would you? That's better. Now, where were we?
Succès déverrouillé, compléter le tutoriel. Succès à 0 jeu, ça fait un bout de temps, j'en ai pas eu.
Not much
Où est-ce qu'on va,
profit in
tiens, bonne
talking
question.
geography with someone who doesn't know where he's going or where he's from. But if you want to know, the trunk of this car is full of 4 bushels of raisins that I'm driving to my brother's place in Intercourse. That enough info for you, Copernicus? Yep. Intercourse, Pennsylvania. You're not going to believe this, but my other brother lives in Lampshade, Texas. I once picked up a guy who'd been to the Czech Republic. They've got some really weirdly named places over there, he was telling me. One place that means young celebrator of pain. The thing is, some of
Par
these
contre, c'est un peu mal
places are
traduit quand même. Hein.
700
Il y a
years
quand même pas
old.
mal de mots qui
Guess
sont
they
pas
didn't really
corrects.
know how to name
Dommage.
places back then. You sure I can't tempt
qu'il y a
you
beaucoup de
with the
blabla.
raisin? Don't
Mais qu'est-ce que tu veux avec tes
worry, I'm not
raisins,
a
mec?
psycho killer or anything. It's just that you look hungry.
Putain, le mec il insiste, je vais quand même les prendre, mais j'aime pas trop ça. Je sens qu'il y a une douille là-dessus. Manger le raisin sec, remettre dans la boîte. Ah mais... Je sais pas. Est-ce qu'il en a mangé lui? Je suis pas sûr. Je l'ai pas vu manger. Et le mec insiste, ça fait quand même déjà 3 fois qu'il me demande, si c'est pas 4. Je suis allergique ou il m'a drogué?
Strange. They're Thompson seedless. Good raisins.
Il va me droguer, il va me violer au bord de la route.
When I was a kid, my brother and I used to drive our parents crazy on long drives like this. Our folks wouldn't let us listen to the radio in the car. So we used to make up these songs about food on long drives.
Tiens, la radio,
to
c'est pas
pass the
bête.
time.
On peut la mettre?
We had this one with about 30 verses, each about a different kind of grain. There was this one time when we passed a billboard for this new kind of bread, balach bread. In hell they have a hell a lot of balach bread. In hell they have a hell a lot of balach bread. In hell they have a hell a...
Cool. Help. Un numéro... D'accord, pourquoi un numéro help?
Bread. In hell they have a hell a lot of bread. What you got there? Just a matchbook, huh? I figured it must have been something important. Because the window is still closed. So, where were we?
Bizarre ce mec.
Oh yeah, that drove Mom and
Une boîte
Dad
d'allumettes avec un numéro Help.
Come on, join in.
Le mec qui me demande de fermer la fenêtre. Il me fait bouffer des raisins qui me rendent un peu chelou, comme si c'était drogué. C'est un psycho le mec ou c'est le jeu qui veut te faire penser que t'es un psycho. Enfin que c'est un psycho, alors qu'en fait pas du tout. D'accord.
Actually, I'm beginning to understand my parents' perspective. Getting older is funny. It's like
chelou,
reading
quand
a
même.
book where less and less happens, but the writing gets better and better.
Bon par contre,
Thanks. I got it from an app.
pour l'instant c'est beaucoup de blabla, il se passe pas grand chose, il y a très peu de gameplay.
My wife got it for me to make me sound smarter. She had a
C'est
way
beaucoup de
with
blabla un
words.
peu philosophique donc c'est pas pour moi vous voyez.
Yeah.
Pour l'instant je m'ennuie un peu honnêtement.
Division of labor back when we worked together. She would raise the grape from the time it appeared on the vine.
J'espère qu'il y a quand même des énigmes à régler parce que c'est quand même un mystery game. Donc dans le mystère pour moi il y a un peu il y a mystère donc énigme vous voyez. Des puzzles ou autre, je ne sais pas. Si c'est resté le cul sur mon siège pendant 3 heures, attendre que ça se passe, écouter le mec parler, bon, bof quoi. Pour l'instant en tout cas je suis pas hypé.
Standing in front of our trailer. It was in a magazine. One of those stories about vanishing farmers that always pulls heartstrings with the rest of the country. Well, I never opened the glove box myself. It's kind of a superstition of mine.
Et donc
But help yourself.
ah. Et là il y a un flingue. Une photo. Regardons la photo.
Hey, where'd you get that? That's not her. And that guy there, he looks like you. I don't know. I was going to ask you the same question, Copernicus. Did he... Who gave this to you? Well, I guess it belongs to you. You'd better hold on to it.
Qu'est-ce que donc la photo avec moi et ma meuf, peut-être, je sais pas, fout dans la bagnole du mec qui m'a pris en stop?
What woman? Well, oh, her. Well, hard to say. I wouldn't lose any sleep over it. What's that black thing in the glove box anyway?
Et l'almanach. Almanach de 1954. Ok, bon, je pense qu'il n'y a rien vraiment à regarder. Hein. Farmers. Ouais, les jumelles. Pourquoi je vois un moulin à droite? Une éolienne, non, c'est un moulin.
A windmill, eh? No idea.
La musique devenait un peu oppressante, je sais pas pourquoi. Quoi? Attends. Sur le conducteur, pourquoi ma conversation? Verne, il s'appelle, ok.
Say, wanna hear a joke? Why
Allez,
did the
vas-y, fais-moi
raisin
rire.
take the prune to the dance?
Encore les raisins. C'est rien.
He couldn't get a date. Hey, that reminds
Une
me.
blague en anglais, c'est
It's
ça?
almost 4:30. You'll like this. It's my favorite. I once knew the hostess, Darlene. She used to change the tires on my truck on Highway 51.
Welcome to another Interstate Riddle Hour. Here's our first riddle. Keep your eyes peeled, all you blacktop carpetbaggers. I fly, yet I have no wings. I cry, yet I have no eyes. Darkness follows me. Lower light I never see.
Ah, une énigme. D'accord, alors, je vole mais je n'ai pas d'aile, je pleure mais je n'ai pas d'yeux. Et je trouve comment la réponse? Peut-être dans le décor, nuage, c'est ça?
Here's our next one.
Ah oui, il pleure, bah oui, le nuage, oui, il fait de la pluie.
He opens
Le gardien
and
il n'y a
shuts
jamais, il ouvre et ferme
with a similar
avec
sound.
le même bruit. Il ouvre et ferme avec le même bruit. Un gardien. La porte. Bon, c'était pas ça. Ah, ça aurait pu, hein.
Very
Ah, mais
good.
tu éclaires. D'accord, c'était
I
ça.
don't know why I listen to this every
Eh,
day.
t'es bien aussi mon idée.
Damn questions are rigged. I never get them.
Says the guy who never knew what pressure to keep his tires at.
Hey,
Having fun?
Attends.
Wanna keep going?
La radio répond.
Great. Here's
La
another
radio
one.
répond au
Take
conducteur.
one out
What
and
the fuck?
scratch my head. I am now black, but once was red. What am I?
C'est pas les raisins, non? Noir, mais j'étais rouge. Ça peut la fermer. Noir, mais j'étais rouge. Ouais. Bon, les raisins seraient marché. Je vous cache pas que j'ai à peine lu le texte. Je sais pas trop.
Need some help?
Répète
Take one
l'énigme.
out and scratch my
Prenez-en
head.
un et grattez ma tête.
I am now black, but once was
Maintenant je
red.
suis noir, mais avant j'étais rouge. Prenez-en un et grattez ma tête. Maintenant je suis noir, mais avant j'étais rouge. Une allumette?
Well done. Okay, here's a tough one.
Oh yeah.
I have 4 wings, but
J'ai
cannot
4
fly.
ailes, je peux pas voler.
I never laugh and never
Je ne ris
cry.
jamais, je ne pleure jamais.
On the same spot I'm always found.
Je suis au même endroit avec
Toiling
une
away
lourde
with little
tâche.
sound.
Un bruit
What am I?
étrange. Un moulin? C'est un moulin. 4 ailes. Il vole pas.
All right, here's our last riddle. He lies without touching the ground.
Il ment sans toucher
oh,
le
come
champ.
on, Darlene. Damn it, Darlene. I should have tipped her better when she changed the tires. She's been out to get me ever since. Look, she isn't being straight with you, kid.
Check the photo, Copernicus. The photo in your bag. Then you'll see.
C'est quoi se dire maintenant la radio me parle à moi? Ok.
She's in trouble, Copernicus. You must help her.
Things like that happen all the time on this highway. It's nothing
Oui,
to
bien
lose
sûr.
your scrunchy over.
La radio qui me parle. Une photo de moi dans la bagnole de l'autostoppeur.
Kid, I am sorry about your girlfriend, but I had nothing to do with it. It's just the opposite. I was sent to protect you. From yourself.
What?
You picked this car every bit as much as I chose to stop for you. You picked this car, picked me. not to feel anything. Kid,
Eh?
just let it go. There's nothing for you down that road. Nothing but hurt. Look, I admit I lied, but only about one thing. Yeah, we've met. Twice, in fact. Sure. You showed up at my trailer park taking photos. At first, I was a bit suspicious, since there were plans to kick us out and develop the trailer park into some kind of shopping center. But then it became clear that you'd been sent here by a magazine to do one of those stories about vanishing farmers that always pulls heartstrings with the rest of the country. Kid, I told you, you don't want to go down that road. Well, what's that they say in that Tom Cruise movie? The one where he's a bartender? Everything ends badly, or it wouldn't end at all? I wasn't afraid of the truth either, back then. My wife, when she got the x-rays, when she knew, she decided to spare my feelings. Didn't tell me anything. Hid the x-rays in one place I'd never suspect, because it was so obvious. It stayed closed until today, till you came along. I wish it was that simple, kid. Hey, Chief. Why don't you have a look here?
Ok. Et y a qui derrière? Marty
He
McFly?
appeared on this highway about the same time you did. I guess he's part of what you're running from.
Donc ça fait 20 minutes qu'il y a quelqu'un derrière moi, hein, et il a jamais rien dit. Ah, y a personne, comme c'était prévisible.
Not sure. You can't see him directly. He only shows up in mirrors, windows, pictures. Well, we haven't talked yet about the second time we met.
Alors honnêtement pour l'instant c'est extrêmement perché comme jeu. Ça en devient
That's the thing. It's a
C'est
little
nawak.
hard to explain.
tout simplement.
Better if I just take you there. It's just a
Non, je voulais
quick
faire l'autre.
detour. We'll be there in a minute.
Pour l'instant honnêtement ça part mal, hein. Je suis pas fan. Beaucoup de blabla, aucun gameplay, scénario perché. Je suis pas très fan pour l'instant. J'ai rien contre un scénario un peu perché, un peu original, mais là ça l'est trop pour moi. Ça se veut réaliste, en fin de compte ça ne l'est pas. Je suis... Ouais, mitigé, un peu paumé quand même. Je sais pas trop dans quel état d'esprit me mettre là pour l'instant. Pourquoi il fait nuit noire là? Même pire. C'est une transition.
A man travels along a road until he reaches a gate at the top of a hill. The road has been long and straight so far, and the going has been easy. But now the man can't go any further, so he takes a seat by the road to rest. The man waits, and after a length of time that seems neither short nor long, the gate opens, and a guard appears. The man asks the guard for entry, but the guard says he cannot let him enter at the moment. The man thinks for a second and asks if he will be allowed through later. It is possible, says the guard, but not now. The gate now stands slightly open, and the man tries to look through it longingly. His journey has been easy so far, and he misses the feeling of the open road. The guard notices and laughs. Even if you could gain entry, there are many gatekeepers after me. Some are much stronger than me, and I'm afraid to look upon them. So there the man waits, for days, months, years, waiting to enter. One day, when he's given up hope of entering, a single question occurs to him, one he has not thought of before. Why, he wonders aloud, are there no other travelers along this road? All these years, no one but myself has waited in front of this gate. The answer to this question comes from a voice near his shoulder. "It is you who made this gate," says a bird perched nearby. "So it exists for no one but you." "But why?" asks the traveler. "Why would I choose to stop here?"
Ouais.
The bird answers after hungrily eating a crust of bread from the man's hand. After this point, the road becomes less straight. It splinters like the tree in which I live, splitting into dozens, hundreds of branches. The path becomes impossibly narrow and frail, and crowded with the view of other paths one could have taken. There's only one point ahead on the road where all paths converge, where all points join, where the light shines through skin and through lies. But it's never been reached by one of your kind, a traveler who walks on feet. "Shoo!" cries the guard, chasing the bird away. "Don't listen to his nonsense." Having said this, he takes a seat next to the traveler, but not before closing the gate forever. So when you think about it, who knows how long we've been sitting here, just like this, on this road. Take it from me. It's better to face things with, what's it called again? Fortitude. Better not to feel too much.
Ah, nous dire
Want a
voici.
raisin? You sure?
Non.
You just need to get used to them. Life
Ouais,
is
c'est mal
like a
traduit.
box of raisins. That's some Forrest Gump type wisdom for you right there. Here, I'll
Le
leave
mec,
the
il voit bien
box
que je suis
open
allergique.
for
Pourquoi
you.
il
Look for
insiste
yourself.
pour que je les bouffe? Non, j'en veux pas. Tu vas me droguer, après tu vas me violer au bord de la route, je sais très bien, ou dans ton coffre, ou je ne sais quoi. Non, je n'y touche pas, je n'en veux pas. Remettre dans la boîte, voilà. Non. Tiens, pourquoi il y a les corbeaux comme dans le rêve?
Look, hooded crows all along this road. I have to chase these for my farm every harvest.
Je dois faire quoi là?
They look
On
hungry.
veut pas de tes
Didn't get
raisins.
much peck out of this last harvest.
Sinon je peux les prendre pour les donner au... Je peux les prendre pour les filer au... Au corbeau, non? Je sais pas. Ah bah voilà. Suis-je bête? Maintenant peut-être me nourrir avec. Voilà ce que j'en fais de tes raisins.
You don't want to do that, kid. These birds are
Ah ouais?
unpredictable.
On parie?
There's no telling what they'll do once they start swarming. Get enough of these crows together and it's big trouble.
Et là.
You're making a mistake, kid. You don't know where they're taking you. Look, I'll help you. I'll help you figure out what happened when she came back from Europe. Look, I get that you're mad, and I don't blame you. But you don't know what's out there, kid. What other drivers on this road are like. Stay with me, and things will play a whole lot safer. Whew, that's a relief. They've already started to peel off. Who? We'll get to that in a sec. Let me ask you something first. Did she pack an umbrella with her on her trip to Europe? Traveler's
C'est quoi ces questions?
or cash? If I am, it's for your own good. Want to hear a joke? Why did the raisin take the prune to the dance? Yep, good one, right? You know, when I was a kid, my brother and I used to drive our parents
Ouais,
crazy
ok,
on long
d'accord,
drives.
c'est un loop, ouais.
Drives like this. Now you've done it. They've taken control of the car. I don't know, Copernicus. Why don't you ask them?
Non mais en fait les devs, quand ils ont fait ce jeu, ils étaient sous effet de la
We're at my
drogue.
farm, Copernicus. I had a funny feeling. The moment you looked through those binoculars. Well, they're pulling us around in circles. They're afraid of the scarecrows I put up here last summer. They want to take us, take you, I suppose, to that windmill in the middle.
Comment je pilotais les épouvantails? C'est marrant toi, mais je fais comment? Et comment je quitte maintenant les jumelles?
You need to rotate the scarecrows. See if you can find something in this car that might do the trick. That's it, kid. Now, more of the same.
Je peux pas virer la boussole, enfin les jumelles?
Almost
What?
there. That's it, kid.
Je sais pas ce que j'ai fait, j'ai rien compris. En tournant la manivelle pour la fenêtre, ça a tourné les épouvantails et le moulin, on aurait dit.
I think it's for you.
Ok.
They have a way of leaving gifts once you've fed them. Often something shiny or a piece of string.
I'm going away for 2 months. I'll be back before you know it. It's practically a cliche. Going to Europe to have new experiences, and yeah, it's corny. But maybe find myself.
I guess I'm just worried that you'll find yourself but lose me along the way.
I'll be back before you know it. Promise. Here's a security deposit.
What a weird box. Did you win this at the circus?
It's great, right? I'll send you something special from Europe to put inside, so you know I'm thinking of you. And then we have
Y a
our
pas à dire,
road
c'est mal
trip
traduit.
together
Hein.
when I
Faut
get
changer
back.
tous les vous en dessus
You
déjà.
won't miss me anyway. You have plenty to keep you busy, like that job in California. The story about the...
The vanishing grape farmers. You're right. I'm worrying too much. I love it. Does it lock?
In some other world, it must, but not here. Okay, trade you a memory box for your Polaroid. Say cheese.
En fait, j'ai même plus les sous-titres. C'est tellement pas accurate que du coup, je préfère écouter. C'est pour ça que je parle pas beaucoup.
Well, now that you know how it started, it doesn't make the next step any easier, does it? Listen, I disapprove of just about every choice you've made on this trip. But I like you, kid, and I can see you've made up your mind. If you want to find your girlfriend, if you want to find out what happened, if you really want to go there, you've got to find that box. I don't know, kid. But find that box and the key. Open the box before it's too late. Well, this is where I say goodbye. Unless you want to help transport 4 bushels
débat.
across. Nah. Just remember, there are many more gates ahead and many more guards. I'm pretty much the friendly
Pourquoi ça
drunken
m'étonne
uncle
pas?
of the bunch. Well, good luck to you, kid.
Ouais, en gros, tout ça, c'est une sorte de trip un peu... C'est que des métaphores, j'imagine.
What did the grape say when he got run over by the car? Nothing. He just gave a little whine.
Waouh.
Good luck with your search.
Ouais, j'imagine que tout ça, ce n'est pas la réalité. Peut-être que je suis dans le coma et que du coup, je m'imagine des trucs dans ma tête, peut-être. Tout ça, c'est que des rêves. Je vois que ça comme supposition un peu logique de tout ce qui vient de m'arriver. Là, c'est très très space quand même. Je m'attendais pas à un jeu comme ça hein, quand je l'ai commencé. Parcours 1 terminé. Donc il y en a 5. Ça m'a pris donc une grosse demi-heure. Donc ouais, faut compter moins de 3 heures le jeu, je pense. C'est parti pour la deuxième course. Oregon. Il s'appelle Patrick Hopper. Un cinquantenaire.
It's the second house on the right here. No, wait, the third.
Don't you remember where it is? I thought you spent your whole childhood here.
Do you know what put us on top of the
Oh, le
food
clipping.
chain? Do you know? And please don't say opposable thumbs. Plenty of animals have those. Possums, koalas, something called the waxy monkey leaf frog. They're nothing special. Forget about thumbs, okay? Memory is what put us here. So many of our dreams are set in the places where we used to live. We want to see them, visit them again. There should be a rule, a kind of social convention. The old apartment rule works like this. We can show up any place we used to live and simply explain, oh, I used to live here. There's nothing strange about it. The people who live there just throw open their doors and invite us in to have a look around. So we can go back home again. So we can be whole. Hey, are you keeping an eye out? Oh dear. I didn't mean to put you to
Ah non, bah non, justement, en fait, je n'écoutais pas. Ce n'était pas intéressant.
No offense taken. I've been told I have a way of putting my students to sleep as well. We're
Donc lui, c'est un
looking
prof.
for Asper Street. And at least it...
Customer Reports. Ouais, un bouquin sur des fax. Les meilleurs fax des années 1992. Enfin, de l'année 1992. Waouh, ça c'est du magazine. Waouh. Autocollant Save the Whales. Sauver Whales. C'est pas baleine Whales? Parce que orc c'est pas ça.
The problem is that
semble,
a
ouais.
few years ago they
Voter Trump, c'est ça? Non.
they rearranged all
Fortune. Tu auras bientôt faim. D'accord, ça c'est de la fortune. Sauver les dauphins, ouais. Cher Lola, greetings, donc salutations de Spokane, ouais. Je visite pour une lecture, ouais. J'aimerais que tu sois là. La forme de mon, enfin la pièce de mon hôtel, de ma chambre d'hôtel, ressemble à ça, d'accord, un labyrinthe. Hein, ton ami Ops. Oui.
spectacle.
D'accord. D'accord.
Mining.
Est-ce qu'il n'y a pas un truc genre un tueur en série et tout? Il y a une femme qui a eu un accident de voiture, ouais. Mais à part ça, rien d'intéressant.
Mining catch your name. Time hops. Yes, that's what everyone calls me. Everyone except my students, of course. Just a second.
Ah, donc dans le sac à dos, on conserve tout. Tout ce qu'on a récupéré dans la première balade.
Let's
Ok.
find this Asper Street, please, before we begin our inquiries. Like I say, they might have rearranged the letters a bit.
Rappelez-vous, les lettres pourraient être mélangées. What? Pourquoi? Où est-ce que je fous les noms de rue sur les panneaux? Franklin Street. Asper. Il faut que je cherche Asper. C'est ça peut-être?
Ah, yes, that's it. Very good. So,
Et pourquoi les lettres sont mélangées?
Now,
En même temps, pourquoi je pose des questions? Ce jeu, et what the fuck? Il faut même pas poser des questions. Faut pas se dire pourquoi ci, pourquoi ça. Tu dis ok.
well, what can I say? I like to hold on to things. Always give yourself the option to look back. That's what I say. Keep your eye on the rearview mirror. You, my friend, should know that best of all. Oh, yes, we've all met you along this highway. Now, I picked you up because I can tell you're looking for something. Something you've lost. Now, we're all looking for something on this road. I've never met anyone who
En
wasn't.
gros, je fais que Charon le passeur.
My dog. Well,
Sur les
she's been
rives du
missing for a
Styx.
long time now.
Version 2020. Ça a un peu changé, ouais.
Hops, like me. Stupid
Eh?
idea, naming a dog after yourself. They constantly
Ah,
think
c'est un
that they
chien.
train. Every time someone you know stops you in the street. Made her a little bit high-strung.
C'est qui Jack? Pas intéressant.
Strung.
Je ne traduis pas, c'est pas intéressant.
Vern mentioned this problem you have with a photo.
Je vais te montrer. Bah, montrons la photo.
So you're looking for her.
Tu la vois bien là,
What
hein,
happened to
hein,
her?
voilà. Là.
Well, a singed photograph is never a good sign.
Bah là, elle est plus brûlée.
I'm sorry, though. You don't remember anything?
Objects are imbued with memory around here, and tell stories. Sometimes rather lengthy and pointless ones, to be honest.
But not in this instance.
On peut pas le replier le
I can help you with
par soleil. Ah si, voilà.
You two came by my house, yes? See, that's my silo. There in the background.
Et où ça au fond, je le vois pas ton silo, mec.
Well, there was some kind of an argument.
En tant que le clipping de fou du jeu, forcément on le voit pas.
And put the kettle on the stove. You never wound up making it through the front door. She suddenly had to take a call. You got impatient. Now, I don't know, but you didn't seem happy about it. I had the feeling it was a recurring thing. Someone who's in the habit of getting in the way between you two. Well, I'm happy to help, however I can. What do you have in mind? If you want to know what happened to her, why don't you just ask her yourself?
Mais comment ça je lui demande moi-même si tu dis que je la cherche?
Where we're headed. The warehouse
Ok.
of lost things. Impressed?
Ok. Sauf que moi je cherche ma femme. Ce n'est pas un objet. Nous sommes en 2020, pas en 1950. Hein. Les femmes objets, c'est fini. Hein.
Okay. It's this warehouse that contains everything you've ever lost in your life. You can find anything there, even feelings, but you only get 15 minutes to look. Yes, only 15 minutes. It really threw me the last time I was there. I got distracted by some mittens. Yeah, I had as a kid. Left them at a bus stop sometime in the mid-60s. After that, my parents bought those things that clip your mittens to your coat so it wouldn't happen again. Well, why not? Shamanic tribes of the Amazon believe that in order to heal, you have to journey into the other world, find the thing you've lost among the spirits, and bring it back. Now, and to think about all the things we misplace. Atlantis, huh? And we lost an entire city once. Why shouldn't we get a second chance just to go back and retrieve some of the things we've left behind? I suppose.
Ouais.
Well, I've never looked for people. It definitely works for pets, though. I found several of my dogs there when they've run away from time to time.
Par contre, ceux qui cherchaient un jeu un peu palpitant, on s'est tous trompés de jeu. En fait.
Now, if I remember correctly, it's only about another 20 minutes from here.
Ah, le pitch était prometteur, hein. Le fait de faire un autostoppeur et tout, enfin de jouer un autostoppeur et puis de faire des voyages avec différentes personnes, c'était assez intéressant. Mais c'est un peu soporifique, il y a beaucoup de blabla, il y a très peu de gameplay, le gameplay est quasiment inexistant. Ouais. Et puis les choix que tu fais dans le jeu, je pense que ça ne mène pas à différentes possibilités. Je pense qu'il n'y a qu'un seul dénouement possible. C'est un peu comme les jeux Telltale, vous voyez, il y a quelques petits... Avec vos choix de dialogue, il y a différents petits dialogues qui vont s'enclencher selon vos choix, et ça s'arrête là. Ça va juste changer une scène par-ci par-là. Mais au final, la ligne directrice, elle est toujours respectée, c'est la même. Là, c'est un peu la même chose, mais en pire. Je pense que franchement, ça change juste le dialogue. Les différents choix changent juste le dialogue. Ça ne changera pas l'histoire. Donc voilà, j'ai plus l'impression de ne pas jouer. Je suis juste spectateur. Donc 20 € quand même pour un jeu où il y a très peu de gameplay. Qui dure peut-être 3 heures, je dirais. Grand max 3 heures, sans aucune rejouabilité. Ah ouais, ça fait mal quand même. Hein. Surtout qu'en plus, le jeu n'est pas très beau. Il reste plaisant à voir, mais les décors, c'est un peu toujours les mêmes. Enfin, c'est toujours les mêmes. Le niveau d'avant, c'était que des champs. Là, c'est que la même banlieue. Et puis, il y a du creeping à mort, quoi. C'est fou. Surtout qu'il n'y a pas une grande distance d'affichage en plus. Hein.
Lola Montez. But she's somewhere in this car now. Feel free to rummage around as much as you need.
Bon, faut que je cherche Lola. Trouver l'ours Lola. Où est l'ours Lola? Ah, Lola, c'était pas la carte postale là, l'autre. C'était pas là. Si, c'est ça. Lola. Elle est là. Enfin, c'est marqué dessus en tout cas. Après un ours. Je ne sais pas. Ah, peut-être là. Clé pour le vide-poche. Enfin, la boîte à gants, je veux dire.
Looks familiar. There she is. Ah, Lola. Put her on the glove box lid, my boy. That's where she likes to speak.
D'accord. Tout va bien.
Yes, sometimes directly, sometimes in more of a roundabout way. Lola, dearest, now I'm here with this young fellow here, and well, the warehouse. Now, it's left up here on Concord Avenue, right? She's not ready to talk yet. She's lonely, and she misses her friends. Fellow memory objects. That's her preferred company. Trinkets
D'autres
from
objets de
church
mémoire.
and found many times
Oui,
over the years,
ok.
imbued with the memories of
Trouvons-les.
everyone who's ever claimed them as their own. Get enough of them together, and things start to get interesting. The present moment peels back like wallpaper to reveal the past behind it and the future ahead. Her and her friends, yes. She's very good. She even remembers my dog's names. Well, it depends on how many are missing at any given time. Currently, Hops is the only one who's out of pocket. She's been gone for almost 9 months. I'd very much like to find her. Well, no, I couldn't look for her these last months. I got a bit detained. Yes, it all started when I was buying some tube socks. I was on the escalator, trying to leave the mall. Do you ever have that thing where you buy something and you know it's the right thing, but you start worrying about it just as you're leaving? I was staring at the socks, wondering if they were the right length. Now, I knew they were, but I must have not been paying attention. Because suddenly, I slipped down that crack at the end of the escalator, right where you're supposed to step off.
En fait, vous savez quoi, ça devient tellement stupide que je crois que je vais même plus lire les dialogues.
Yes.
Ça devient trop stupide là. C'est même plus du what the fuck, c'est stupide là.
Well, first quite quickly, and then very slowly.
Mon cerveau a fondu déjà. Il commence à dégouiner par les oreilles.
Before you know it, you're banging around in this chute. And then
Ah,
you
donc là c'est la
land
petite
at the
séquence
bottom of the green.
crayonnée de
That's
l'épisode.
what they call
Il y en aura une par épisode,
entrance.
j'imagine.
It's a little area with some
C'est bien, il n'y a pas de...
fake
Je veux dire encore moins que
grass
d'habitude.
carpeting, so the landing isn't so rough. It's the most fantastic place. Under the escalator. Just vast. Like falling out of bed and landing on the moon. Oh, no. There are other people there, but not much good for company. Everyone's just waiting to get out. Very poserish scene down there. Let me tell you. A lot of staged ennui. Oh, not much really. There's an old black and white TV that only gets a few channels. There's some old board games just lying around, but they're all missing pieces and instructions. There was one box that promised 8 games in one, but I couldn't figure out for the life of me how to play a single game. A couple of decks of cards, all incomplete. I must have dreamt 20 times that I found the 4 of clubs.
Oui, un peu comme moi devant le jeu.
Pretty much the only thing that passes for excitement there.
Et je commence à me demander pourquoi j'ai mis le micro d'ailleurs, parce que je dois vous saouler avec mes commentaires. Je n'arrête pas de défoncer le jeu depuis quelques temps là. J'aurais dû faire un gameplay sans blabla.
They open the escalator every year on January 1st. Well, clear everyone off. But then, well, yeah, budget cuts. I fell in the beginning of May, last cold weekends of the year. Really tough thing to get your head around, being trapped in there almost a whole calendar year. They stuff mannequins full of food and supplies, put them on the escalator, and just let them slide down the chute. Well, that's a big moment when they drop the mannequins down. Really breaks up the monotony. Everyone rushes over to tear the mannequin apart to get their hands on the food inside. Oh, indeed. But I guess it's the easiest way to get the food to slip down the crack. One time, a real guy fell down the shaft and was mistaken for a mannequin. Now, he was half torn to shreds before I pulled him out of there. Poor fella didn't look lifelike enough. Oh, yes. He was really quite beside himself. He gave me his pipe as a token of appreciation for saving him from the mob. Well, I still keep it in my pocket.
Ça rejoue.
Oh, look. Let's give it to her, please. Let's see if she's feeling more sociable. Lola, dear, are you feeling more chatty now? She says her tea party is still missing 2 guests. You see, we just need to find 2 more of her friends.
Ouais, des objets de souvenirs. Souvenirs, souvenirs. Là, il y a Lola, donc ça pourrait être un souvenir, mais non. Quoi qu'il reste à trouver dans cette fichue bagnole. Carte postale, c'est un souvenir aussi. Mais non, je ne veux pas. Autocollant. Non plus. Un trognon de pomme. Non plus. Dans mon sac à dos, il n'y a rien de plus. Qu'est-ce que... Non, je préfère quand même ouvrir la fenêtre. Je me sens mieux comme ça. Cassette, éjectée. Ah, sur le goulag, trop bien. Quelle joie. Plus qu'un objet à trouver. En quoi est-ce que ça a du sens? Bah, en gros, ça résume bien aussi tout le jeu pour l'instant. Où est le sens?
Oh, well, it's something I used to play for her in the car an awful lot. There was this one story she used to adore.
Donc bonjour à tous, voici Lola, l'ours en jouet qui est fan de goulag. Super.
Oh, here's
Allez,
a
peu
fellow who's
importe.
eager to get to the bottom of things. It's okay. I tend to ramble on a bit.
Non, non, pas de blabla, on va directement à la fin du jeu. Allez.
What is it ye be wanting to the answer for? It's a reasonable question. Well, the answers are all in front of you. You just have to decide if you want to go all the way down the tunnel or not. You sure? You don't look quite like a fellow who wants to know the truth. Well, never mind what I think. It's a simple choice.
Bon, au moins il y a un cycle jour-nuit, c'est déjà quand même pas mal.
And you'll return to your previous life, remembering nothing.
Tu me l'as fait à la Matrix là, c'est ça? Et la rouge, c'est ça? Voilà.
But then you're in here playing for keeps.
Attends, c'était quoi déjà la bleue?
Give you the blue pill, and you'll return to your previous life, remembering nothing of any of this.
Ouais.
Or I can give you the red pill, but then you're in here playing for keeps.
Qu'est-ce qui se passe si je prends la bleue et revenir à l'ancienne vie?
You sure? You won't remember any of this, you know.
Rappeler de quoi? D'un mauvais jeu qui a un scénario what the fuck et puis un décor qui tourne en boucle? Avec une traduction un peu à la ramasse. Bas de la trappe. Ouais, la gorge, j'imagine.
The only thing that gets better is that by the end of the year, the new people who fall through the escalator won't get so grouchy about it. Oh, the blue pill. I was just kidding about that. It's a tic-tac.
Je suis sûr qu'il y avait une connerie.
Face right now.
Il y a au moins un truc drôle dans le jeu pour l'instant, c'est bien.
I have an awful sense of humor.
Ah non, bah non, mec, non, non, t'excuses pas. Au moins t'es plus drôle que le mec d'avant. Avec ses blagues sur les raisins.
Well, I once convinced a friend that the sun had exploded. He was quite
Mais
distraught.
comment tu peux croire ça?
We were on a fishing trip together. Tiny island, no electricity. Now, I set his clock ahead several hours. When his alarm went off, he went out to fish and waited. Now, by the time his clock said 8 o'clock, he started shaking me awake and screaming, "Where is the sun?" Now, of course, it was only 5 in the morning still.
Voilà, voilà. Oui, au moins c'est marrant. Pause panoramique. Mais pour voir quoi ça fait littéralement 25 minutes ou presque qu'on est en train de faire le tour du même patelin de maison. Déjà que c'est pas intéressant à voir parce que y a rien à voir. En plus il y a un clipping monstre. Et en plus on est là depuis 20 minutes, on fait le même tour. Qu'est-ce que tu veux voir? Ça n'a pas d'intérêt, ça n'a aucun sens. En même temps tout le jeu n'a aucun sens.
Okay, here goes. This girlfriend of yours. Why is it so important for you to find her? I mean, okay.
Ah, parce que c'est ma copine, tout simplement.
Damsel in distress, etc., etc. I get it. But if you can't remember anything about her.
We'll always have this.
Mais je me rappelle.
See, this is
Je me rappelle ni d'elle ni de moi, je suis amnésique.
You feel it, right?
All you have to do is find your way back to me. Let's keep him as our pet.
You two didn't even mean to capture it. It just flew into the empty bottle. Well, for your sake, I hope so. I think you know. You're like me. The past is the only place left for us. When we were young, we thought the past could only tie us down. Everything we wanted, freedom, lay ahead on the open road. Well, that was yesterday, and this is today. Now the past is all you've got, and the future is full of pain. Well, when we get to the warehouse, remember to keep an eye out for a firefly in a glass bottle.
Moi j'ai une question, ici on est plutôt à l'entrepôt de faire le tour du patelin. Parce que là on fait des tours depuis le début. Hein. Il manquait pas un item pour l'ours? On le trouve quand?
Oh, look.
Ok.
Looks like
Voilà.
he started doing some advertising. I guess he's finally decided to take matters into his own hands. Normally he's so stoic, letting things take their own course, never complaining. Well, he was just trying to help you. Seems like you could use it.
En me cachant la vérité, c'est m'aider.
Infected with this frontier spirit, am I right? Always move ahead, always continue along the two-lane blacktop. Don't look back, right? Wrong. You don't know what you're dealing with here, young man. Maybe Vern exaggerates a bit, but at least he knows these parts. You should turn back here. No, I'm serious. Take the whole goddamn pack of Tic Tacs if you want. It's just Lola. Blast nothing. Someone changed the street signs. Him. He's been here. I swear it was the second left past the red house. But don't worry. Don't worry. We'll find it. It's right around here. No, it seems to have disappeared along with the car manual. I just want to find my dog. These streets all look the same. This is worse than falling down an escalator. Here, take this. See if you can figure out which way is east.
Avec un kaléidoscope donc.
Are you sure? I mean, look through it and see if it tells you which way is east.
Il y a du gameplay là ou ça se passe comment? Non,
No luck, huh?
Non.
Well, maybe it does
Pas de
something
gameplay.
useful.
Donnons à Lola.
Listen. She's starting to talk. Hopefully we can get out of this maze now and head on our way. Lola, dear, this young man and we're looking for... She's saying something. Something about you. A car crash? No. He's fine. Well, just look at him. She thinks you've She thinks you've caused some kind of accident. I can vouch for this young man, Lola. Well, he's been with me almost the entire afternoon. She says she knows who you are and that she wants to help you. She's gathered these memory objects for a purpose, for you to put together, to bring you earthly knowledge, she says. Very peculiar.
La cassette. Non. J'ai bon, non? Non. Ça ressemble à rien.
Well, isn't that something? It's alchemy, my boy. Art. A camera. Your means for turning water into wine.
Ah.
Redeeming the past. Renewing memories.
Oui, dit comme ça, une caméra, oui.
Well,
Succès
nothing
déverrouillé.
needs redeeming more than the American
Construire un objet
suburbia.
magique. C'est de
Am I
l'alchimie,
right?
mon garçon, de l'art, une caméra.
Americana.
Oui,
Where the
en gros, bon,
intermingles
pour
with
ceux
the
qui veulent, en
mundane.
tout cas, le jeu, il y a 11 succès. Les 11 succès sont liés à l'histoire.
Photojournal. Win some awards.
Un pour terminer le tuto, et 2 par mission. Enfin, par course.
Firefly.
Tous les succès du jeu sont liés à l'histoire.
From your memory, I suppose.
C'est déjà ça, au moins t'as les 1000 G en faisant le jeu.
Oh, hello there, Lampiridine.
Pas besoin de guide ou autre. Qu'est-ce que je dois faire? Ah, les lucioles! Tiens, ça modifie les visus.
Oh. Ho ho ho, those sideburns. Don't let my students get a hold of that. I think they're not done yet. They want you to take more photos. They want to show
Suivez
us the
les
way, but they can only do it
lucioles.
through photos.
Elles sont là! Suivons-les! D'accord. Oui, ça me paraît accurate.
I didn't notice him standing back there. Should we go back and pick him up? Who is that guy anyway? You don't sound very glad to see him.
Ah, vous savez le mec qui était derrière moi
I think they're not done
dans la
yet.
première course.
They want
Oui.
you to take more photos.
Allez, c'est reparti. Prévisible. Ah, elle rentre dans les maisons. Elles sont malicieuses, elles se cachent. Vous ne m'échapperez pas. La photo, c'était sûr.
Trading post, huh? Interesting proposition. I expect you get something rather valuable in exchange for this particular camera.
Et comme on dit, jamais 203. Parce qu'après tout, c'est tellement l'éclate que 3 fois, hein. Voilà, on en redemande. En tout cas, j'ai rarement fait un jeu aussi soporifique en 2021. Le jeu était prometteur sur le papier, mais ouais. Y a rien qui tient en haleine. Y a pas de gameplay. L'histoire est pas intéressante. Pour l'instant, mais à mon avis, ça va être jusqu'au bout.
What? It can't. Ah, no! No! My dog! How? If I can't find her in the past, I don't have a chance of finding her in the future. Oh, that was just nonsense I said to cheer you up.
Ah, merci.
I just want to find my dog.
Ouais, comme on dit, mais 304, hein. Non, non, ça marche pas. Non, ça marche plus, c'est fini. Ah, je voudrais essayer. Et maintenant, il n'y a même plus de musique. Ah, vous voyez, c'est encore mieux. Vous êtes juste bercé entre ma voix et le scintillement des lucioles. Super, hein? Vous êtes chanceux, avouez.
Is that a dog collared in the street? I suppose, but what's happened to her? She's invisible. She's lost in time since the warehouse closed its doors. That's it. Capture her with that camera of yours.
Toutou!
Oh, you're a good dog, Hobbs. You ran past the funny mailbox through a door, and we'll find you, don't worry. We've got to find that house.
Ouais. Trouvons une boîte aux lettres. Étrange, soi-disant.
That's the one. Hang on.
Bah voilà.
Look, the silo. That's my house. Funny how you can come upon the very place you live and not even recognize it. All depends on the angle you... Hey! There's Hops! Thank goodness. Oh, I've almost got her back. Listen, I didn't realize the warehouse was closed, but we must do it again. Now you have to promise me, pinky promise, that we're going to meet again in a year, okay? This same spot. We won't exchange contact info or anything like that. We'll keep it old school. Meet here in 1 year's time. What do you say? Sorry to hear that, young man.
Non, je ne veux pas. Je ne veux plus jamais y revenir. Plus jamais.
Look at me. I'm living proof to the contrary.
Je fais les succès, je fais les 1000 G, je finis le jeu et je n'y reviens plus. Jamais, c'est promis.
Seems like they're waiting to give you one last memory. Hops, wait for me.
Et voilà, je pense qu'on a fini la deuxième course. Et je pense que je vais m'arrêter là du coup pour le moment.
I lived here my entire childhood. I feel like I have the right.
Sure, but we better make it quick. Lots of driving to do still.
Hello. What can I do for you two?
This is gonna sound funny, but...
Not at all. Come right in.
Oh, sorry. I've got to take this. To me, it's perfect here. I don't understand what's so great about our life in Seattle. Don't you ever think about making a change?
Sure, but this isn't the kind of change I had in mind. I get it. You grew up here, so it's your baseline of normal.
Ah, maintenant c'est tu. Avant c'était vous.
Adventure. It's just,
La traduction a changé entre temps.
It's a good place to grow up, to have children. At least it was for me. I can always find myself here. Same stars, same fence, same mailbox.
Ah, il faut peut-être que je joue. Oh, la boîte.
You need a ride someplace?
Et on enchaîne donc avec la troisième conductrice. Vous êtes comme moi, le passé est tout ce qui nous reste. Succès déverrouillé. Ah ouais, encore 3 courses. Bon allez, vous savez quoi, je vais encore en faire une peut-être, avant d'aller manger. Comment elle s'appelle? Léa... Lee, je sais pas comment on dit. Léa, peut-être, ouais, Bird Soul.
Listen, I'm not your girlfriend. And I'm not your mother. But you'd better finish that pickle. Or else, I'm stealing it.
Oh non, 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 pas les pickles. Ah!
Me? I'm a waitress,
Quelle
dummy.
urgence.
Waitresses have to be whatever people want them to be.
Y a rien de plus dégueu au monde que les pickles. Bah!
Yeah, but not today. Don't worry. Thursday's my
Oh,
day
des
off.
lunettes pour enfants.
That's okay. It's nice to sit on the other side of the counter for a change and see how the other half lives.
Déco originale.
This music, isn't it
Ah,
dreamy?
le même truc que les allumettes.
I can tell we have some things in common. We both have to live by our wits.
Pourquoi ça se
Hitchhiking
dédouble?
isn't an easy trade. Waiting tables isn't either. I'll show you what I mean. Corned beef hash with 3 eggs over easy, whole wheat toast and hash browns. 2 eggs scrambled with bacon, sausage, English muffin, and french fries with mayo instead of ketchup. 3 eggs over easy with well done bacon and a side salad, hold the toast, Greek omelet with well done hash browns and white toast, a short stack of blueberry pancakes, coffees all around, and 1
Meuf,
Diet Coke.
juste, chut.
So, how many orders of toast were there?
Je m'en bats les couilles
Nope,
surtout.
2. 3 if you count the English muffin. Well, you must have been doing something right to have made it this far. I figure there's an art to hitching a ride. You have to be able to read people very
Désolé pour avoir été
quickly.
vulgaire, mais
Waiting tables is no different. You
ça
get to
venait du
know
fond
what
du cœur,
people
comme on dit.
want before they know what they want. It's a sixth sense. It's good you managed to lose Hops back there. Let me guess, did he try to make you promise to meet him again? Yeah, we've all made a few of those. This highway is practically paved with broken oaths sworn to Hops, patron saint of useless stuff. Let me guess, you chose the blue pill, just like me. Well, you
Bah
did
oui, en
learn
même temps,
something
le jeu est
interesting
tellement
about
pinçant,
yourself in the process,
tu
right?
veux en finir au plus vite. Là, tu me filerais un flingue pour me suicider, là, dans le jeu, hein, je précise dans le jeu, hein, je le ferai. Hein. Ah, du coup, j'ai pas écouté la question, du coup, on va dire je suppose. Hein.
Badly, Hops. He's just a bit
Comme Perceval dans
stuck in the
Camelot avec son
past.
c'est pas faux. Voilà.
That's why he has all that junk in his car.
Ça passe.
Can't let go of anything. Can't change. People like to solve problems with the tools they understand. Hops thinks all the useful tools are in the glove box of his own memory. That's why it's good you got clear of him. He's a bad influence for someone like you. That's good. You can't live in the past. Well, judging by the faces in this place, you can't live in the present either. Look at these blue screen zombies. Everyone glued to their phones. Depressing. Very funny. That sense of humor will serve you well when our new robot overlords take over. The living dead all around us.
Ok.
Not you
Tout va
two,
bien.
though. You and your girlfriend. You were very much animated. Although, maybe not in a good way. That was some argument. Well, if it wasn't worth arguing over, it wouldn't mean anything, I guess. You were right over there, sitting at the counter. Well, I'm not one to eavesdrop. Something about text messages being present. The usual suspects when it comes to couple arguing somewhere in public in the 21st century. I only caught the end of it. It was one of those things that suddenly boils over. One moment you were sitting there having your strawberry rhubarb pie and trying to figure out where the next gas station is. The next moment, when I came back with your check, there was this big scene with you storming out the door.
Je suis allé. Je suis un homme. Allé et eux. Ah, peut-être que je suis trans, hein, après on sait pas. Hein.
I just want to be sure there's no trouble on my watch. Like I said, it died down pretty quickly. She hung around for another 20 minutes, mainly talking on her phone. Then she got her stuff and left. Seemed like she was making a plan to meet somebody. Well, the way she was talking, it seemed very intent. And when I was wiping down the counter, I found this. Have a look. You might find it interesting. Weird, right? Gets weirder, though. Check out the back.
Ben oui, y a rien de
Some kind
plus.
of rendezvous. I mean, I figure that's not your card. Beats me. I just work here. Sorry, Copernicus. I've helped you all I can this time. Like I said, we all know each other on this highway. Pass me the menu, will you? I want to see if they have the seasonal milkshakes in yet.
Milkshake, ils ont traduit milkshake.
Aw, look at that.
Lait fouetté.
It's like a little map of your adventures. How
Faut pas traduire ce qui n'est pas
convenient. Even your
traduisable.
gas station is there. Did you notice?
Traduisible. Je sais plus, je sais plus parler de la France. Mais il faut pas traduire ce qui n'est pas à traduire. C'est débile.
It's a typical sign, you know. Of a lucid dream.
C'est comme traduire un panneau
Random
stop en
happenstance,
marquant arrêt.
strange
Je sais
coincidence.
pas si. Non. Non.
This might be a good time to test if you
Il
have
y a des mots, ça
superhuman
reste
strength
mondial.
or can fly or something. I think I'll have peppermint mocha or vanilla caramel. Yeah, haven't seen our waitress in a while. Jeez, I'd kill for a shake right now. Well, things become real when we invest meaning in them, when we make them real. There's a poem about this. A guy is having an argument with his friend. He's freaking out because the meaning of every word, everything, every idea seems to be falling apart. After a while, I understood that talking this way, everything dissolves. Justice, pine, hair, woman, you and I. It's my day off reading.
Ah, il faut peut-être jouer, non? Livre de poésie. Du coup, elle mange pas le pickle, hein, alors qu'elle a dit qu'elle voulait. Praise, Robert.
Well, he remembers this lover he had, and that helps him get his head screwed on straight again. Well, in a sense. It's more that he thinks back to what it was like when they were together, and the different memories come together and leave him with a sense of specificity. That things are real and not just a big pile of words and
Je suis en train de littéralement
concepts
m'endormir
and
devant
stuff
le
that
jeu.
fall
Je suis
apart the
désolé.
moment you
Hein.
try to squeeze them tight. He thinks back to when he was a boy and remembers this river where he would try to catch the little orange silverfish called pumpkin seed. But you do. Just repeat after me. Pumpkin seed. The memories are real. Look at me. Don't forget me. See me for who I am. Pumpkin seed. You wouldn't believe how much people project their weird bullshit on me. It's the curse of the diner waitress. Less a real person and more a blank screen. I can't tell you how many swingin' dick detective McGurks I've met in this place. Give me a coffee as black as a moonless night, darling. Shit like that. Everyone has an agenda. People think they come to a diner for food, but they're really looking for something much more profound. They want something. And at the end, they settle up. You bring the bill, and they have the chance to make good again. Everybody wants to be forgiven. It's a simple transaction. You're no different. Only when you're as good at it as I am. In this job, you work as a professional shapeshifter. After a while, you can't even recognize yourself in the mirror anymore. You start to realize that nobody is what they seem. Not you, especially not them. This whole modern problem of people not really being present, it's everywhere. And technology only makes it worse. Once the robot doubles started showing up, that was the tipping point. Robot doubles. The first models were so expensive, only Silicon Valley types could afford them, like electric cars. But pretty soon it got to the point where basically anybody could afford a robot double of themselves. You could pick one up at Walmart, one aisle over from the toilet paper and the firearms. Even the company that produces my cheap-ass phone started them. They claimed they were on a mission to disrupt the human space. I hate that word, disrupt. Pretty much anything you want, but there's where you have to be careful. It acts like you, but it only performs at about 70% of your capabilities. It's you, after a bunch of drinks. So, if you're smart, you only trust it to do really simple things for you. Go to the post office, jury duty, fill in for you at your boring job. But people are lazy. They grow dependent on their robos, use them for all kinds of things they shouldn't. Making complex calculations, blowing up boulders. People send their robos off to be with their wives, their families, while carrying on affairs. Check it out. Imagine you and I are in a relationship. Then you notice I'm acting a little slow. My eyes aren't focusing quite right. Like this. Look. See it? So now you realize that I've just stuck you with a pile of bolts for the evening. Right, so here we are. Two dummies out on a date together. Would your robo be smart enough to know that I'd sent mine? Or would they keep it a secret between themselves? All kinds of ethical issues, right? I don't know. I know you're trying to make your eyebrows move weirdly just to mess with me. Did someone stand me up with a robo? No, not exactly. It's more about this thing that happened to me at work once. It happened in my former life as a flight attendant. Grab that thing and pull up a chair. I'll tell you all about it. You feel like a sack of bolts yourself doing these safety demonstrations. People are zoning out, staring at their phones like the blockheads in here, or else just leering at you like you're the first woman they've ever seen wearing a uniform. But you start getting good at spotting the doubles. They're often the only ones paying attention, staring at you with those not quite human eyes of theirs. Technically, no, they're not supposed to be there. But like I said, people bend the rules, and security rarely checks. They're fine on the runway, perfectly docile. But something goes wrong at altitude, something about the navigation system. The FAA wanted to study it, but the study got shut down because you're not supposed to have them on aircrafts in the first place. So yeah, I learned to spot them right away. It becomes a job requirement, a matter of survival. Here, try your luck. Have a look at the table. So, 1 mustard, fine. 3 mustards, not so fine. The one on the left is the real one. See if you can track it. Keep your eyes on the prize. 10 will get you 30. Very good. You have successfully enforced airline regulations. Want to play again?
Non.
So,
Pourquoi
where
faire, j'ai
was
déjà
I?
réussi.
Pick that up again, and I'll show you what happened next. One time, we were doing a flight into Galveston, and we had a sudden drop of cabin pressure about 100 miles from our destination. No, but imagine this. Everyone's freaking out. I'm trying to help a girl with her arm in a cast to get her oxygen mask over her head. Suddenly, I'm aware of this Frankenstein monster lurching towards me. The robos, they're like an army of the undead. I don't know if they were affected by the sudden change in cabin pressure or what, but they just lost their shit. People are screaming, and we're huddled together like a band of villagers with pitchforks to fight these things, throwing crap at them from the drink cart, locking them in the toilets, and so on. Luckily, they started fritzing out on their own, like Hal in 2001 when his brain starts melting. Let me tell you, as soon as we got over water, adios! Out you go, robos! Threw them right out of the cabin doors.
Attends, si t'ouvres les portes de la cabine en plein vol, l'avion est dépressurisé, c'est pas une bonne chose ça, non? Ça me paraît extrêmement dangereux.
Throwing the robos off the plane? No, you're right. That didn't actually happen.
Ben oui.
You can't just open the hatch door like that.
Oui, je m'endors un
It's a
peu devant le
nice
jeu, mais
image,
quand même, je
right?
reste attentif.
I like
Hein.
to think of it sometimes when I'm lying in bed trying to sleep. Maybe so. They're everywhere these days. I can see one in this diner right now, in fact. Can you find it? That's right. The king. Can you believe it? God, I miss the king. They say that it was the first robot double prototype ever made. He actually sent it off to act in some of those cheeseball movie roles he had. That's why they were so bad. Am I? Says the guy who called his own girlfriend a robot. I seem to recall you standing right there, complaining, it's like eating lunch with an automaton. You really don't remember anything? What you were fighting about? What happened next? Could be. Well, I've got a little game that might help you remember. It's kind of like a telephone seance. Ready? Hello? Is that you? This is your girlfriend. Yes, it's me. I'm calling from beyond the grave. Why'd you bring me back here, of all places? Of all the restaurants we've been to? Couldn't you have summoned me to that place with the sour cream pierogi? See, I told you this is a good game. Okay.
Non,
so,
c'est nul.
I'm your girlfriend. Somehow, I'm
Un
not
mauvais
with
jeu
you
dans un
now,
mauvais jeu.
and you don't know why. Except, I am with you right now. That pretty much sum it up? No, this is my game. I get to ask the questions first. What's with this gas station you're trying to get to? What are you hoping to find there?
We need to get gas in a sec. Hey, stop it!
It's like we spend 1 year falling in love and the next 4 breaking up, right? What took so long? Were you just afraid of being alone? Or maybe you didn't want to be the guilty one, the one who blows things up and hurts me. Were you waiting for permission from me to end it? Waiting for me to give you... Exactly. Waiting for an excuse. What? Right. That's why you stuck around. Fear. You didn't want to break anything. You couldn't get over the idea that this great future we were supposed to have could just be wiped out. The beacon we'd always talked about, our light in the bottle, gone. You left it to me. Put it on me to do what needed doing. Well, I finally gave you the sign you were looking for, right over at that counter there. You guys need anything else, or you're okay for now?
We're fine, thanks. You do anything to make it different, right? To fix things. I can take you to that gas station, and I can be her for you. Together, we'll open the box. You can make it happen. You can make it real. What do you say? Miss the old times? Let me be her. Okay, your choice. Now it's your turn. You can ask me one question, whatever you want. The man on the phone. Yes, the one I was texting when we were eating lunch. The man with many eyes. Yes, he has 10 eyes, like this. No, he wears them around his wrist, like a bracelet. Even while he sleeps, a few of them keep watch, their eyes open. He also wears an orange vest. Find the man with many eyes, and his friend, the man with mirror eyes. They're the ones who did this to me. Close your eyes.
Hey, where'd you go? It's like you went somewhere else there. Having some irresistible dream? Good for you. Reality is always the best policy. Speaking of reality, the check has arrived. Works for me. What's the sudden rush? Are you sure? If you're lucky, maybe she hasn't even gotten to the gas station yet. Well, the card has Thursday 4 p.m. written on it, right? That was 2 days ago. And need I remind you that today is... Yeah. If we leave now, we can beat her there by nearly an hour and find out who's waiting for her. Well, that's easy. If I'm made up to look like her, he'll give himself away as soon as we arrive. I have a few wigs in the car. Well, that's the thing. You'll be waiting in the car with my phone. You can call the police the moment anything looks funny. And like I told you, I'm an expert shapeshifter. Come on. Time to be forgiven. And time to hit the road. Time to pay the check so we can get out of here.
Une photo de portable. Oui, avec le numéro de téléphone, mais il n'est pas complet.
It says that 60% of the workforce won't have a job in 20 years. Hey, can you put down your phone for 3 seconds? I'm trying to have a real human connection with you, and you're so tuned out. It's like I'm eating with a robot.
I'm sorry, I know. We need to get gas in a sec. You can tell me about it while we're in the car.
Would you put that thing away?
Hey, stop it! Come on, let go!
Who is that? Who are you writing to?
God, keep your voice down. Look, I've been driving for ages. I just need to space out a little.
A little? It's like you're a million miles away.
Can you just give me a break, please?
We were just taking a break, remember? Now we're back together, but I feel this is the last place in the world you want to be.
Well, that's what I'd call a self-fulfilling prophecy.
Ain't love grand? Come on, let's get out of here. How do I look?
Effectivement, elle a bien changé.
Good. I'm a very apt pupil. A very apt pupil. Here, take my phone. Call for help the moment something looks fishy. Shoot. Right? I did, yes.
Le bouquin, ouais.
Right, it was her. Yes, and? Listen, there's something at the end of this road that you don't want to find. If you only wanted to find it, there wouldn't be all this conflict. Drivers lying to you, drugging you with raisins, all the little glitches, things that don't make sense. The static. It's hardly been a smooth ride, has it? I'm just saying, there are two sides to every story, right? The argument back at the diner, maybe there was something missing for her. Something missing between the two of you. Have you stopped to think for a moment about why you keep finding these photographs? Why they are
Celui
so
sont forts quand même à
important
répondre à
to
des
you?
questions par d'autres questions.
Your photos.
Du coup, t'apprends rien.
Their way of
Ou
capturing
vraiment très
reality,
peu.
right?
T'apprends des trucs au
They're
compte-gouttes.
objective, but they're also you. They tell the story you want them to tell. That camera of yours, it's a weapon too. Take a photo of me, and in the photo, I'll never change. I'll never grow away from you. Well, let's test that hypothesis. So, what did you learn back there from your photo? Oh? Oh, you have my phone. Why don't you call it then? And you think he's also this man with all the eyes? Hey, you said he has 10 of them, right? Have another look at that card. 10 little eyes. See him?
Oui, sur les i, c'est ça.
See him? Freaky, right?
Non, si, c'est ça. Non, je sais pas, les points sur les i. Ouais, c'est ça.
Well, almost there now. Time to get in character. Sure, I can't see a thing. What gives? I can't. The car is jammed somehow.
Ouais. Tout va bien.
What the hell? Watch it, buddy.
Ah, ça se termine comme ça donc. Tout le monde veut te pardonner, c'est une transaction simple. Donc on a déjà fait 3 cours sur 5. Bah, faisons le 4e, hein. On va quand même pas s'arrêter sur un truc aussi important. Bar Sayed. Je suis dans un coffre. Ok.
Hello. Copernicus? Is that you? Let me guess. You've gotten yourself into some kind of jam. Swinging by your toes over a tiger cage? Locked in a trunk? That doesn't sound like part of your dream. How'd you manage that? I sincerely doubt that. The fact that I'm hearing your voice now suggests otherwise. Well, don't say I didn't warn you. You've sworn to deceive me, Vern. I'm going to feed the birds now. I want to know the truth. Look where that got you. Speaking of which, did you find the box, Copernicus? Have you opened it yet? Figure out a way to open that box, Copernicus. Inside, you'll find out who you really are. Don't mess with him, kid. He's the final gatekeeper. Way too strong. You need to learn the spell first, before you can go up against him. Hey, Hey, if I knew it, I'd tell you. But let's start by getting you out of that box. Lucky for you, I've got my Farmer's Almanac here. Let's have a look. Hang on. See, cabbage, caraway, carrot, car trunk. First thing you should do is reach around for the latch. Sounds kind of obvious. Okay, next step. See if you can scare up the brake lights. Can you find them? It's a little gizmo with some wires. Okay. Yank on the wires and try to pull the lights into the trunk with you. Got them? What color are the lights? We need a green light, kid. A steady green light. That's the way forward. Gotta run now. Good luck to you, kid.
Ah d'accord, merci. Merci du coup de main. Alors, lumière verte. J'ai pas compris. Qu'est-ce que je dois faire? Le plus sur le plus, le moins sur le moins. Là, il faut... Violet? Non, pas de violet. Non, d'accord, ok. Là, il faut pas de violet et pas de plus, non? Ah, si, c'est bon du coup. Donc là, il faut pas de... Pas de positif, pas de vert. Donc ça, c'est bon. Là... Non, là, il faut un rond. Donc le seul rond qu'il y a, c'est celui-là. Le bleu, il va là. Et le plus, il va là. Merde, il faut un moins. Quel con. Zut. Qu'est-ce qui n'est pas bon? Il me faut un moins. Là, moins, mais il faut pas de... Si je mets moins, comme ça. Ou alors je mets celui-là là, celui-là là, celui-là... Non, il faut un... Je suis mauvais. Ou alors... On peut mettre celui-là là, celui-là là, celui-là là. Non, c'est pas bon non plus, là il faut pas un... Pas un vert. Pas un vert, pas un rond. Alors si je mets celui-là là... Et là... Voilà. J'ai faim. Donc j'ai du mal à réfléchir. C'est toi qui m'as kidnappé?
شو بدي تسوي بسيارتي بس من خبرتي بهذا المكان راح اتسح بعدين.
Tu m'expliques en arabique, hein. Ça va pas m'aider.
آسف ما أدري هاي مو صدق.
Ok. Ça ne m'aide
بس
toujours
أنا
pas.
أشعر بيه كان من صدق حجة سعر. كل شيء هنا إلها دلالة رمزية. السترن الجير ولا القرن على الدشبول. إيه معود على كيفك. أريد أوقف.
Ouais.
Wygląda jak droga horyzontu. Pamięć nosi to, co chami and I try to pararte derecho. He oído que el cielo está tan bajo que no puedes pararte derecho. Por eternidad de premola. Ulica wygląda, zonda stotelo studromu. Echłakuse od Jouranosine, toso hamilos, demboris equipunas verticicia. Echłakuse od Jouranosine, toso hamilos,
Ouais,
demboris equipunas
c'est pas fou.
verticicia.
Rien ne me dit ce qui est vraiment bon.
Por eternidade tu horizondas totelos tu dromo. Por eternidade telos tu dromo. He oído que el cielo over the glowing asphalt, and I try to find it in
Ouais, enfin c'était bon quand même.
English? No, sorry. I could, of course, back in the real world, but it doesn't seem to have come with me into this place. To me, this sounds like Arabic. I guess it depends on one's perspective. Anyway, as long as you're not going to start shouting at me again, it's an improvement. Kidnap you? I don't think my singing is that bad. How would I know? It's not even my car. No idea. I sat behind the wheel here night after night. And the trunk, that's my
Pleine nuit, mais on est en
You
plein
don't
jour
want
là.
to know how many hours I've spent in there, trying to shift my legs to keep them from falling asleep. Why should I know? What makes you think you can turn up out of thin air and interrogate me? Who are you anyway? I'm not sure actually. But here, it's funny. On this highway, everybody calls me Al-Shatir. Never heard of Ibn al-Shatir? A famous astronomer. I guess you don't learn about him in your schools. One of the forefathers of astronomy, in many ways a predecessor to... Yes, that's right. Copernicus, Al-Shatir. Two iconoclasts from different lands who challenged the belief that the sun revolves.
Comme c'est cocasse.
Two dreamers who had the conviction that their unique consciousness is not the only thing in the center of the universe. Maybe you're not just part of my story, like I'm not part of yours. You were trapped in the trunk, where I've been many times. It's like you've wandered into my dream, and I've wandered into yours. How should I know? Somehow the streams have crossed. Disturbance in space-time continuum. Me? Yes, safety. A place far away from wars. From bombings. From the cockroaches that crawl out as soon as the dust settles. On the news, you hear only about armies and relief me away. They're the ones who did this to me. The El Mahdi army. They called themselves an army anyway. They were looking for my brother-in-law because he worked as a translator for the US military. Neighbors warned us we should move, and so we did, twice. Luckily, no. He was safe with the army beyond their reach. A few years passed and we forgot about the threat. Life had returned to normal, and that's when they came back and picked me up. 2 days later, when I woke up in a Baghdad hospital, I found out that they dumped me off there and told the hospital that I'd hurt myself in a work accident. Yes, after that, I couldn't stay. The women in my family, my mother, my sisters, they were the only ones who knew. I was very close to the women in my family. They were the ones who were around all the times while I was recovering. The men, my father, my brothers, always working, always out of the house. I got on a plane to Istanbul, where my cousin lived. He took me to Izmir, where the smugglers are. They're easy to find. I bought a space on a vessel, headed to Mytilene, Greece, the closest harbor in Europe. Just a simple raft, but not as overcrowded as in some of the stories you hear. I was lucky, at least in the beginning. We couldn't leave for 5 days. Too many Greek army ships in the sea. Every morning, getting up at 3:30 to make a go of it. By the 5th day, I was so tired of waiting that I wasn't even scared to get on board any longer. Finally, impatience had overtaken fear. We did not make it to Europe. A boat pulls up next to us. People are trying to understand what's going on, but the men on the ship only speak Greek. At first, people are worried that it's pirates. They take everything from the passengers. Sometimes take the passengers themselves. Sometimes just ram the boat and laugh as it sinks. But no, these are police, it turns out. They take us back to Turkey, where I'm waiting, and waiting, and waiting. Of course, I did not remember all this in my dreams at first. These were things I remembered from clues I found along the highway. I've dreamed this highway before, many times. It's a good question. I had an uncle once who left Iraq many years ago to study engineering at the University of Bowling Green. I guess this made an impression on me. Who knows why we dream the things we dream? What is your dream about? A breakup? That's it? Ah, that's more like it. Who has been kidnapped? Who's this person that's been taken away from you? Do you have a photo? Who knows? Maybe I've seen her somewhere along this highway.
Qu'est-ce qui se passe? Pourquoi il n'y a
If
plus
you
de
show me
dialogue?
her photo, maybe I can
Ah, d'accord, j'avais skip le dialogue sans lire.
help. I know her, the same woman, but with different hair color. I just saw her at the gas station a few miles back.
Bah oui, c'est là où tu m'as capturé.
A decoy? What kind of game are you playing here? I'd say you're lucky nobody got hurt. You sure? Didn't she also warn you that you're the one pulling the strings here? How do I put this? In this place, it's important to see things for what they really are. Keep them pinned down. The moment you start shifting things around to suit your needs, well, you're like Pandora, opening the box. There was a scene there at the gas station. She was being questioned by two men. She seemed to be explaining herself, pointing at the empty passenger seat in her car. They didn't really seem interested in her, though. They were more interested in the empty car seat. One man was wearing an orange vest. He seemed to be in charge. Another, shorter guy next to him. Mean-looking, like a shrew. trap. So, they were looking for you? Sounds like getting in my dream. Getting in the trunk. May have saved your neck. No, I didn't get a look. I just heard one strange thing they said. That they were looking for a guy with 8 fingers. They were going to find him. Something like that. 8 fingers. 8 digits maybe. Uh-huh. And you wouldn't happen to have a strange blue box with you, would you? That was the other thing they mentioned. They have the key, but don't want the box opened. No, I didn't get a look. Say, have you noticed how many tumbleweeds there are suddenly? I don't know, but the weather also seems to be turning suddenly. Turn on the radio and see if you can find a weather report.
Ok, ton mouton de poussière là. Enfin, pas de poussière, d'herbe morte, d'herbe séchée. Ce que je dois faire, j'ai pas...
My God! Get that thing off the window! Get it off! Get it off! It seems to be changing the weather conditions.
The Central Valley.
Sunny skies. Sunny skies.
Suddenly, it's sunny. It's not working. They're stuck to the car. We need some other kind of weather to get clear of them.
La pluie peut-être.
Level.
Warning.
Looks
Tornado,
like tornado
60 feet from
conditions
car.
Look, the tornado. It's starting to pull the tumbleweeds off the car, but it's not strong enough.
Non, est-ce que je dois jouer? Certainement. Augmenter le volume.
Tornado 20 feet from car.
It worked. Oh, good riddance.
Par contre, ça nous chope pas, nous. D'accord. Ok.
Look, that was very strange, even for this place. I don't know. It seemed they were spying, searching for something. Did you notice? What do you know about these guys? The ones who are after you? Seems he had a few extra to spare for the tumbleweeds. I see. What else? Oh, let's see. Balkan tours? Not directly.
C'est là où je
No.
travaille.
But I've heard about them. From a guy in Istanbul I met. He had made it through to Europe, but then had come back to get his family. But that's another story. He had come across those Balkan tours on his way back from Serbia. He warned everyone about them who would listen. Apparently, they had a charitable program to help refugees, promising to help them. But no one who accepted their help was ever seen from again. People just disappeared. And it wasn't just people in the refugee community either. Tourists too. There were strange stories. Did she mention anything about these Balkan tours to you? Yes, I guess merely the fact that you ever saw her again suggests otherwise. Still, it seems like a connection. Well, I hope she hasn't fallen into their hands now. Some of the stories circulating around refugee camps in Serbia at this time. I only heard bits and pieces, nothing very clear. Mirrors, rooms full of mirrors. People losing their minds and never coming back. Yes, people who were heading from Turkey into Croatia and Serbia were being warned about it. Watch out for mirrors. Rooms full of mirrors. Rooms full of ice. Well, my friend, I think right now the best thing you can do is run for safety. They probably have a good beat on your location, assuming the tumbleweeds were on their payroll. Make no mistake, these guys are dangerous. Honestly, I have no idea. But tangling with Balkan tours right now would be suicide. I mean, it's what they want, isn't it? Right. Where did you get the box? They must be worried about what's inside. Worried it will expose them, all the things they've done, to her and to all the other people they've hurt. I wish I knew. Even if I make it to my destination, I'm still not home. That's what it means to be an exile. My niece, Nadia, used to ask me that question all the time. Where are you going, uncle? She was the only young person who knew I was leaving. Imagine, she knew when my father didn't. I was always mad at my sister for telling her. She would ask me that when I was putting her to bed. The only thing you can tell when a person that young asks you a question like that at bedtime. I told her the truth. Not the truth, but the truth wrapped in the blanket of a story. There's a place where the river Tigris runs through Baghdad. A place called the Two-Story Bridge. When I was a kid, I would go fishing there and look out at the water and wonder where it all led. As a child, I was told that the farthest place on the earth from Baghdad is a place called Fiji. I would train my eyes on the horizon and imagine that all the water led there, to the point where the sky met the earth. To my child's mind, Fiji was the place where the sky touches the earth. These people of Fiji, they must be very tolerant people to live in such a place where one has to stoop over at all times and can never stand up straight. Eventually, they resolved to leave and find a new home where the sky was farther from the earth, where the pandanus tree can grow high enough to be woven. So they left this land right under the sky, leaving behind those people so old and bent that they no longer cared to stand up straight. The other Fijians gradually moved away from the edge of the world, and the sky got a little higher, and then they found a marvelous place. It was fertile and lush, with excellent weather, an orange tree for every backyard. But there was one problem: earthquakes. Terrible earthquakes, as frequent as rains during the springtime in this country. All because the sky was still close to the earth. When there's thunder, it echoes off the roof of the sky and causes the ground to break. But the Fijians adjusted. They built their entire civilization out of rubber. Rubber houses with rubber beds that would sway during the quakes, with rubber restraints that would hold the sleeping Fitchians tight while they dreamed. But Nadia didn't want a bedtime story about that. She wanted a story about good and evil, the kind of story children like. So I changed it for her to be about a Fitchian princess called Nadia, who finds the source of all the earthquakes. Yes, but it's a child's bedtime story. You can change the details as you go along. So, Nadia finds a dragon hiding under the earth. A dragon with a splinter in its toe, whose terrible roaring causes the earth to break. Nadia slays the dragon and saves the people by uttering a magic spell. Gonothi se auton. Gonothi se auton. It's actually Greek. Rolls right off the tongue, no? Okay, that was interesting. Can you say that again? Or the mirror eyes closed? Seems like it. And look, that's not the spell's only power. The card. There's a phone number on it now. Do you know what this means? I think you're ready to make a certain phone call. Ready to put your spell to use? Good. Do you have a phone? Even better. So, here's the plan. You call them and tell them you want to sign up for a tour. Doesn't matter. A tour of the Badlands, whatever. Just something to get close enough to them, to find out what's going on. Here's the thing. If they act like they're taking you on a tour, everything is good. But if they've figured you out, they'll try to distract you while they kidnap you. Take it from me. They tell you someone you care about is in danger. But don't believe it. If everything's fine, then everything's fine. But if someone you know is in danger, it's a trap. Get out of there. Are you ready? Dial the number.
Yeah. Help you with. That's a big park. You near the Argus gas station on Route 90? All right, I'll pick you up in an hour. Just guess from your voice. So, see you in an hour. Don't worry about that. I'll be waiting for you once you land.
So, it worked then? I think you'll be fine. Just keep the spell close at hand. And remember, if they start telling you someone close had been hurt, it's a trap. It's a few minutes before 3:30 in Istanbul. There's another raft waiting. Another try. Thanks. To you too. I think you'll be fine. You have allies all along this road, even in the cars of enemies. I've left something for you.
Hey, sorry I haven't written in a while.
Fin de l'épisode 4. Et ben enchaînons sur le 5e tant qu'on y est. Finissons le jeu. C'est parti. Nous sommes donc avec Jack Pinkham. Ok.
Hey, sorry I haven't written in a while. It took me all morning just to figure out where to buy stamps here. So, I'm sending you something from my trip, like I promised. Last week, I was at yet another barbecue. People here really enjoy their pork chops, let me tell you. There was this old-timer there, the host's father. He was talking about inflation during the war years. He ran upstairs to get something he was excited to show me. He comes back down with a 50 billion dinar bill. He starts talking about, at the time they printed it, inflation was so bad that in the morning it could buy one sandwich. By lunchtime, it could buy half a sandwich. It's a beautiful piece of printing, don't you think? All these O's lined up next to each other. Anyway, keep it tucked away for safekeeping. The big piece of news on my end is that yesterday, I finally tackled my fear of heights. Your humble correspondent from the Balkans went hang gliding. Yes, me. Hard to believe, I know. I wasn't gonna do it, but this tour guide guy I met talked me into it, facing my fears and all that. But then the tour guide takes me to the hill where they do the hang gliding, and they're talking about the most crazy thing that happened the week before. You're not going to believe this. It's a tandem dive, so they have you strapped in with an instructor, right? Well, last week they strapped someone in, but the instructor forgot to strap himself in securely. They go running off the cliff and the instructor tumbles down the hill. The instructor was okay, just some bruises. But now the other person is stuck up in the air with no idea how to fly the thing. Everyone on the ground is freaking out, yelling instructions up in the air about what to do. The girl said later that once she got over the initial terror, it was like she'd been flying a hang glider all her life. It must have been exhilarating, conquering that first wave of fear. And once you're up there, it is amazing. The best thing is that you look down and there are these tiny white cotton ball things on the ground, and then you realize they're sheep. It's not so hard to steer either, once you get the hang of it. Today, when I was looking for stamps, I bought one of those inspirational refrigerator magnets in a tourist shop. It says, "Do one thing every day that scares you." I know you think this kind of thing is cheesy, but I actually think it's profound. I hope we can do stuff like this on our road trip together. Can we? Sometimes I hate how we live in Seattle, just sitting around in our own heads all the time. I feel like it's the reason we've been arguing more lately before I left. If you don't shake the fear out of your system on a regular basis, it curdles up into anger. I don't want to be angry. Well, time for your idealistic correspondent to sign off. I'm so used to writing emails that it hurts my hand to write a real letter now. How sad is that? But I promise to write more often. And what about you? I don't expect a real letter, but an email would be great. How is everything going? How did it go with that California assignment? The thing about the grape farmers? That was this week, right? I miss you. I feel a little nervous about coming back home to you, but a little nervousness is nothing to worry about. That's what I've learned here. Fear is the mind killer. Love you.
Geez, there you are. Nice of you to grace us with your presence. I've been looking all over for you. You were supposed to be waiting by the post office, remember? Look, we've all got a lot on our minds since the accident. I don't have time to drive all over Mankato looking for you. Barely gotten any sleep since it happened. The tour, visiting hours are until 7, so yes, you'll get a chance to see her. She's in the ICU being evaluated for something called sub-fucking arachnoid hemorrhage. So yeah, she's great, dude. She's never been better. What? Hang on. Shut up. This isn't just any kind of phone call. Yes? No, I know. No, he turned up eventually. Yeah, he's sitting right here. Do you want to talk to him? Should I put him on live with you? No, I didn't think so. Yes. Okay, I'll wait then. What? It's called a headset. It's a good way to not wreck your car while you're using a phone. Something I would think you'd be very invested in at this point. Look, it was an accident, I know. Sorry. But you just don't pull a phone out of someone's hand while they're behind the wheel. You should have known better.
This is Skycam from KTOE, reporting to you from Mankato. For those of you heading south on I-169 on your commute,
Copernicus,
expect some delays
What?
around the Route 40 junction.
don't say anything. He can't hear me. Only you can. Listen, don't say a word. Do you have that locked box? If you do, roll down the window as a sign.
Hey, do you mind? I'm trying to listen to this.
A minor fender bender, perhaps.
It's okay. You can close it now. No point in making him angry over nothing. Okay, good. You can't let these guys get a hold of that box. He may even have the key on him, this guy. They're taking you to her, but you have to be careful. You need to figure out how much they know.
To the hospital. Is this funny to you? Because it's not to me. Do you really want to go there? You really want to talk about this? Now? Of all moments? Fine. Listen, I know that she wasn't honest with you, that she couldn't bring herself to be straightforward about her feelings. I know it hurt you, man, but you two'd been growing apart for a while. In the end, she just wanted to be with someone more dedicated. That's the direction she was growing in. It didn't happen overnight, but the trip to Europe and meeting Craig, yeah, that was a big part of it. Fine, whatever. Yes, we're all working against you. Are you satisfied now? Because this is hardly the time to bring your hurt feelings out onto the stage. Can I tell you something? You're a great photographer. I mean, nobody doubts that, man. But at some point, if people keep screwing you over, keep betraying you, at a certain point, if everywhere you go, people keep being assholes to you, well, guess what? Maybe you're the asshole. The radio? Sure, go ahead.
Copernicus, there's no time to lose. You have to act quickly now, before he puts that helmet on again. Use this bell. Stop him.
What? Yeah, know thyself. That's what I'm talking about. Ganathi Seaton, Greek for know thyself. That's a good start. I know you've had a rough 24 hours, but we all have. I mean, she's my sister after all.
He's lying.
Hang on again, I gotta get this. Yeah, I'm here. We'll be there in just a few minutes. Yeah, he tried it just like we expected. No, I'm fine. Yeah, I agree. It's time to call his bluff.
Step on the brake! Stop him! Do it! Step on the brake!
Ah, what are you doing? Let go!
Alors, qu'est-ce que c'est que ça?
I wasn't gonna do it, but this tour guide guy I met talked me into it.
She thinks you've caused some kind of accident.
I'm going away for 2 months. I'll be back before you know it.
Visiting hours are until 7, so yes, you'll get a chance to see.
That was some argument.
Here's a security deposit. I'm going away for 2 months. I'll be back before you know it. It's great, right? I'll send you something special from Europe to put inside.
Ok, j'ai pigé.
I wasn't gonna do it, but this tour guide guy I met talked me into it. So I'm sending you something from my trip, like I promised. It's a beautiful piece of printing, don't you think? All these O's lined up next to each other.
You two came by my house, yes? See, that's my silo.
That was some argument. The argument back at the diner, maybe there was something missing for her.
She thinks you've caused some kind of accident.
Visiting hours are until 7, so yes, you'll get a chance to see her.
Find the man with many eyes. They're the ones who did this to me. He has 10 eyes. He wears them around his wrist, like a bracelet.
Help me! Save me from this man! Help me! Save me from this man!
Oh, please, I think you flew into the bottle on purpose. What are you, the public defender to all things living?
Fireflies can't talk. Someone has to speak up for him. If the 6 tiny mittens don't fit, you must acquit.
Yeah, I'll set it free in a minute. I just think this light is incredible.
Let's keep him as our pet.
Now is being cruel. I think I'll always remember this.
This is one of those nights, right?
One of what nights?
We'll always have this. If you ever get to a point where you feel like you've lost me, all you have to do is find your way back to here and sit down beside me.
I hope the grass isn't so wet next time.
I'm serious. Write a note to your future self and put it in this bottle. If there's ever a point where things have gotten totally screwed up between us, that moment isn't real. This one is. All you have to do is find your way back to me.
What if I can't find the way?
That's why I've made you this beacon. A bottle with a green light to show you the way. Sense of direction isn't exactly your strong suit, Copernicus. Let's make a pact. With this honorable firefly as witness. I promise my screwed up future self won't mess this up for us.
I don't know. My future self can be a real jerk.
Mine too. We're going to make mistakes. Hurt each other. Everyone does it. So, time traveler, what news? What wisdom do you bring from the future?
That it's never too late. That any mistake can be fixed.
Good, if that's what you believe.
C'est un peu long la transition là, non? Ah, donc ça finit comme ça, d'accord, ok. C'était un peu brutal. Donc... donc pour une fois dans ma vie, je n'ai pas compris la fin. C'est très rare. J'ai vraiment pas compris. J'ai pas retrouvé ma meuf, je ne sais pas si tout ça était réel, je pense pas. Écoutez, à vous de me dire ce que vous avez compris, en tout cas moi j'ai pas bité grand chose, en même temps j'ai pas suivi grand chose de l'histoire non plus. Je suis vraiment pas fan. Pour moi c'était quand même une petite déception, hein. Même une grosse déception. Très peu de gameplay, l'histoire vraiment chelou, très what the fuck. C'était pas fou, c'était quand même mieux vers la fin, mais il y a plus de questions qui restent sans réponse qu'autre chose. Donc c'est quand même très décevant, malheureusement. Donc c'était Hitchhiker Mystery Game qui est sorti aujourd'hui sur quasiment tous les supports. Hein. Xbox, PlayStation, Switch, Steam. Sorti sur téléphone aussi, il y a déjà déjà un bon moment quand même. Donc le jeu coûte 20€. Et ça m'a duré 2h30, et il n'y a aucune rejouabilité malheureusement, donc ça fait un peu cher pour ce que c'est, hein. 20€ pour 3 heures, enfin à peine 3 heures. Ouais, c'est vraiment décevant, dommage, je m'attendais à mieux. Pourtant le jeu était quand même assez prometteur sur le papier, mais au final,